morning, everyone. This is Diane Murray at Southern Art Gallery, and today we are painting this little goldfish for a color theory class that I'm teaching. We're discussing complements, and as you may or may not know, orange and blue are complements, and yellow and violet are complements. So this painting is a nice example of a complementary color scheme. And you will see complements naturally in nature. It's amazing how often you see them when you start looking. Red and green, the yellow and the violet. It's just everywhere. And when you start paying attention, you'll start really seeing how common they actually are. So I have laid in a underwash everywhere that's going to be orange. I've laid in an underwash of this is azo yellow, but you could easily use lemon yellow just to define those areas where the orange is going to be. So I've laid in a basic water wash over all these areas that are lighter. So there should be a soft transition here. I want this really soft and delicate. And very light so a lot of water in here, but enough to maintain an edge. It's better to build these things up gradually when you want a really soft effect. So all these these are the fins coming in here. And down here it's going to be much more yellow. So we just want to suggest these things. Very light touch. And this is basically a mixture of ultramarine blue and magenta to get a soft purple color. Here. I'll go back and soften these. This entire area is, and I'm painting from a reference photo. On my iPad, but I'll include this photo for you. I think I need an edge along here, like this, but not that far down, just kind of like that. And I've got these all kind of blending together here, and then we've got this entire area the fin darker, so we'll kind of come back with that. We'll add some stripes in there a little later. And every time you paint, or every time I paint a subject, it always ends up different. It just seems to end up that way. So if I want smooth transitions here, I'll just add the water. And lighten it a bit. Softening it with the, my drawing is a little bit different than the reference photo, but that's fine. normally I would use the color that I tend to make up myself, the violet, which is also called Smalt in Winsor Newton, which is a nice, really violet blue, which I really like. And we're going to have the orange come in there. So we just want to soften this a little bit in here. Because this is so delicate, I think it's important to build this up very gradually. Got these sweeping motions here, coming off the fins. And the edges are light. This is going to kind of wash up in here. Need that yellow. So I'm going to just go over the whole thing. So we have nice transitions here. And then under his belly right here. All right, now we have a darker blue, so I'll just move over into the ultramarine down here. And this tip is going to be a little more blue. And this is already dried, so I'll just wet this again. So we have a nice, easy transition here. Leaving some of those edges white. We'll just wet this fin right here so that we can lay in some of these darker colors. There's quite a dark color right there. And some of these are sweeping up. And then all these fins have sweeping motion coming in here. Okay. And this is so light up here, it's almost a cerulean blue. So I'm going to take the tiniest little bit of cerulean blue and just touch it up here just to give some variation. And down here as well. There's actually a little movement here. Soften that again. And then there's some in here. Just really a little bit more of the violet, but we'll put that in a minute. Just want to leave that light. All right. I think I just want to touch this again here along this edge. Bring it this way. If you want thin lines, just change the position of the way you're holding your brush. And then soften that a little bit. We want some movement in here. Coming down this way. trying to get the movement in the fins themselves. See, we put them down, then we soften them back. You could also just go over that with a wash and soften those as well. That way. All right. There's a movement of this blue. This actually comes over that here. Comes in here and much darker up into here. All kind of radiates from this point right here in the base of his tail. So I want this to be darker all in under here, starting right here. But moving it this way. And then it comes actually, the shadow line also comes down here. I think that's a shadow line on his fin. If you can download this photograph so that you can see what I'm looking at here, I think that would be most helpful for you. Now this time, instead of softening it with the paper towel, I'm just going to soften it with the water. Right. Now I think I'm going to go in with a little bit of the orange and maybe a little bit larger brush. Now this orange is transparent pyrrole orange. It's real important when you, after you make up your mixture, after you clean your brush, you need to blot your brush and get most of the water out of it so that you're not carrying too much water into your wash. I think that's a problem that a lot of my students have, is that they simply carry too much water. You can see we can get fine little lines in here as well.